Chosen one. You didn't arrive at this moment by chance. There is a reason this message found you when it did, and a reason your spirit felt the nudge to stay. A decision you made, quiet, costly, and unseen by most, shifted what you are now trusted with. Heaven noticed alignment before the world ever did. Doors are opening not because you demanded them, but because you were ready to carry what's on the other side. As Scripture reminds us, those who are faithful with little are entrusted with more. Stay present. What unfolds next will bring clarity to what has already been set in motion. Chosen one. What you need to understand first is this: the decision you made was not loud, and it was not applauded, but it was weighed. Heaven does not respond to noise, it responds to alignment. There was a moment when you chose integrity over urgency, patience over panic, obedience over explanation. It may have looked like nothing changed on the outside, but something shifted in the unseen. That decision adjusted what you could be trusted with. Not just money, not just influence, but responsibility. Because increase is never released to impress you. It is released when your inner structure can carry it without collapsing. This is why this message meets you now, and not earlier. Chosen one. I speak to you as someone who has stood in that same quiet place where obedience felt costly and confusing. There were seasons where doing the right thing delayed visible reward, where walking away felt like loss, and staying faithful felt invisible. But those were the seasons that trained discernment. Heaven watches how you move when no one is rewarding you yet. That's where trust is built. You weren't being ignored, you were being assessed. And now, because you chose correctly under pressure, access is shifting. Doors that once stayed closed are no longer resisting. Not because you forced them, but because you matured past the version of yourself that would have misused what was behind them. There is a reason the weight feels heavier lately, chosen one. Increased trust always feels like pressure before it feels like provision. Scripture hints at this when it says that promotion doesn't come from the east or the west, but from God alone. What you're stepping into is not sudden, it's precise. The provision attached to this next season is measured to your capacity, not your desire. And yes, there is supernatural supply connected to this transition, but it will arrive with instruction, not chaos. It will require stewardship, not spectacle. That's why peace has been forming in you, even before things change. Peace is the signal that you're ready. Chosen one. You may not realize how many times that decision protected you. Some paths you didn't take would have given you fast results and long damage. Some shortcuts would have paid immediately and cost you later, but you listened when it would have been easier not to. That's why heaven is intervening now, not to rescue you, but to entrust you. What's coming is not just a breakthrough, it's a reassignment. Finances, influence, and opportunity are being repositioned around you because your discernment caught up to your prayers. And this time, when things begin to move, they will move with stability. I want you to stay present with this chosen one. Not in urgency, not in fear of missing out, but in reverence. What unfolds next will explain why waiting was necessary and why preparation took longer than you expected. You are not late, you are aligned. And as this message continues, you'll begin to recognize how that single decision quietly rewrote what heaven now trusts you to carry. When you're ready, ask for the next part, and we'll go deeper into what is being released and how to walk it out without losing your balance. Chosen one. There is a reason your life began to feel narrower right before this expansion. Heaven often tightens the path before widening the territory. You may have noticed relationships thinning, options closing, energy being conserved instead of spent. That was not loss. It was focus. When God prepares someone for greater trust, distractions are gently removed. You were not being restricted, you were being refined. The decision you made signaled readiness for clarity, and clarity always precedes promotion. I want to ground this in something real. There were moments in my own journey where obedience looked like stagnation. I remember choosing restraint when reacting would have felt justified, choosing humility when recognition was overdue. Nothing happened immediately. No applause, no reward, just silence. But later, I saw how that silence rewired my discernment. It trained me to move without needing validation. That is the kind of inner strength heaven trusts. And that is the same strength forming in you now, even if you didn't have language for it then. Chosen one. The trust being shifted toward you is layered. It includes provision, yes, but it also includes timing, influence, and responsibility over outcomes that affect more than just you. This is why impatience could no longer rule your decisions. What's coming requires steadiness. Scripture often alludes to storehouses opened in season, not on demand. You are entering a season where supply flows because alignment holds, not because effort strains. That's a different rhythm, and you've been learning it quietly. You may have felt pressure without understanding why. Not stress, but weight. That weight is capacity expanding. Heaven does not hand weight to those who cannot carry it. And notice this, the peace you've been feeling is not passivity. It's readiness. When fear decreases before circumstances change, it means authority is catching up internally. You're no longer asking for permission to become who you are, you're stepping into it. Chosen one. There is also restoration attached to this phase. Not dramatic, but complete. Things you thought were lost forever are being returned in a wiser form. Not always the same people or situations, but the value they took from you. Confidence, stability, opportunity, even financial ground that slipped away is being repositioned. This is not luck, it is recompense. Quiet, accurate, and timely. I need you to hear this clearly. You are not stepping into excess, you are stepping into stewardship. That distinction protects you. Excess overwhelms. Stewardship stabilizes. What is being trusted to you will grow because you won't worship it, rush it, or fear losing it. You've learned how to hold things loosely while honoring them deeply. That's maturity. As this unfolds, chosen one, stay anchored. Don't announce prematurely. Don't explain yourself unnecessarily. Let results speak when it's time. The same decision that shifted heaven's trust will guide your next steps if you stay listening. You may already sense subtle confirmations beginning to surface, small alignments, conversations that feel different, doors that don't resist the way they used to. These are not coincidences, they are indicators. When heaven shifts trust, reality reorganizes quietly before it announces itself loudly. Pay attention to ease replacing effort. That is often the first sign. What once drained you will no longer demand the same energy. What once confused you will start to clarify without force. Chosen one, resist the urge to test this season. You don't need to prove it's real. Fruit will appear naturally. Testing delays flow. Trust accelerates it. Continue doing what you did when nothing seemed to be happening. Show up, stay grounded, choose integrity. Those habits built the foundation. They will now sustain the increase. And as you remain steady, you'll notice something else. Confidence without arrogance, expectation without anxiety. That balance is rare, and it is the mark of someone heaven can rely on. Chosen one. There is a deeper layer to what is happening now, and it has less to do with what you're receiving, and more to do with who you have become while waiting. Heaven does not only measure outcomes, it measures posture. The decision you made reshaped your posture toward life, toward responsibility, and toward authority. You stopped reaching, grasping, and striving the way you once did. Instead, you learned how to stand still without shrinking, how to wait without losing vision. That is not a small thing. That is the posture of someone who can be trusted with influence without being consumed by it. I want to speak honestly here. Many people ask for increase, but few are prepared for what increase exposes. More provision reveals discipline. More visibility reveals character. More authority reveals motives. This is why your season of preparation felt internal rather than external. God was not rearranging your environment as much as He was recalibrating your inner world. You were being taught how to respond instead of react, how to observe instead of assume, how to choose timing over impulse. Those lessons now become protection as things begin to move. Chosen one. I have lived through a season where doors opened faster than my discernment could keep up, and it cost me. I mistook opportunity for assignment. I accepted access without instruction. And I learned the hard way that not every open door is safe if you don't yet know how to govern what's behind it. That is why I recognize what is happening in you now. You are not rushing into this next chapter. You are being escorted into it. There is a difference. One leads to burnout. The other leads to sustainability. This is also why heaven has been quiet about the details. You don't yet have the full picture, and that is intentional. Too much information too early can create pressure to perform instead of space to integrate. Right now, your role is not to predict outcomes, but to remain aligned. Alignment keeps the channel open. Anxiety clogs it. And notice this: the calmer you've become, the clearer things feel. That calm is not accidental. It is evidence that your nervous system is no longer ruling your decisions. Peace is not passive. Peace is power under control. Chosen one, there is a financial dimension to this shift, but it is governed by wisdom. Supply will meet you where responsibility is already established. You may notice resources appearing in unexpected ways, not always dramatic, but timely. Bills resolving without panic. Opportunities appearing without chasing. Support coming from directions you didn't lobby. This is how provision looks when it flows from trust rather than fear. Scripture often describes this as daily bread, not because it is small, but because it is sufficient and sustained. You are being taught to recognize sufficiency as abundance. What you are stepping into is not about proving anything to anyone who doubted you. That chapter is closing. Vindication is no longer the driver. Stewardship is. You will notice your desires becoming more refined, less urgency to be seen, less need to explain, more focus on impact, more care about who benefits from your growth. That shift is crucial because what you carry next will affect others whether you intend it to or not. Heaven trusts you because you've learned to consider the weight of your actions. There may still be moments where old fear tries to resurface. That is normal. Growth does not erase memory overnight, but you will also notice that fear no longer controls you. It may knock, but it doesn't get the keys. You've learned how to pause, breathe, and listen before moving. That pause is sacred. It creates space for guidance. It prevents self-sabotage. It keeps you aligned with timing instead of impulse. This is the discipline that sustains blessing. Chosen one, stay attentive to subtle confirmations, not signs that demand interpretation, but shifts you can feel. Conversations aligning, resistance fading, your energy no longer leaking in places it used to. These are indicators that the transition is underway. You don't need to force anything. What is meant for you is already adjusting its pace to meet you. And when the moment arrives where action is required, it will feel clear, not chaotic. As you continue, remember this: the decision that changed what you are now trusted with was not a one-time event. It was the beginning of a new way of moving. Keep choosing the slower yes over the rushed yes. Keep choosing integrity over advantage. Keep choosing alignment over approval. These choices are now your currency. And in the next part, we will talk about how to recognize when it is time to step forward and how to do so without losing the peace that got you here. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every true transition where stillness must turn into movement and discernment becomes the deciding factor. You are approaching that moment now. Not a rushed step, not a forced leap, but a measured forward motion that feels calm even as it carries consequence. This is how you know the timing is right. When fear no longer shouts and excitement no longer blinds you, but clarity quietly settles in your chest. That is the signal. Heaven does not push you into motion. It invites you when alignment has matured. You may have wondered why guidance lately has felt less dramatic and more internal. Fewer signs in the sky, fewer external confirmations, more quiet knowing. That is not absence. That is trust deepening. Early in the journey, direction often comes loudly because confidence is still forming. Later, guidance becomes subtle because you've learned how to listen. You are no longer being managed, you are being partnered with. That shift requires maturity, and you have grown into it without realizing how much. I want to ground this again in lived experience. There was a time when I waited for unmistakable signs before moving, afraid of getting it wrong. I delayed decisions that were already ripe because I wanted certainty instead of clarity. And what I learned is this certainty belongs to outcomes, but clarity belongs to steps. Heaven rarely shows the whole staircase. It illuminates the next step and waits for trust to respond. You are standing at one of those illuminated steps now. Chosen one. The movement ahead will not demand that you abandon peace. If something requires panic to pursue it, it is not aligned. True assignments come with calm authority even when they stretch you. You may feel resistance internally, but it will feel clean, not chaotic. Growth often feels uncomfortable without feeling unsafe. Learn to tell the difference. Your body already knows it. That discernment has been trained in you through past restraint, through moments when you chose not to act impulsively. That restraint now becomes wisdom in motion. As you step forward, you may notice others reacting differently to you. Some will sense the shift before you say anything. Others may pull away because your clarity exposes their confusion. Do not interpret distance as loss. Sometimes space is created so expansion can happen without interference. You are not being isolated, you are being positioned. The trust being placed on you requires fewer voices, not more opinions. This season favors precision over consensus. There is also a practical side to this transition. Stewardship will ask you to organize, simplify, and prioritize. Not everything can come with you. Not every habit, not every obligation, not every role you once carried. This is not rejection, it is refinement. The more responsibility you carry, the lighter unnecessary weight must become. Pay attention to what drains you versus what strengthens you. Heaven often guides through energy before words. What aligns will energize without exhausting. What no longer belongs will feel heavy without reason. Chosen one, do not be surprised if opportunities begin to test your discernment. Some will look good, but require you to compromise pace or peace. Others may come quietly without impressive packaging, but feel stable and right. Choose the latter. Flash is not favor. Ease is not laziness. Sometimes the most anointed doors open without resistance because preparation already did the heavy lifting. You don't need to prove you deserve access anymore. That was settled when you chose alignment under pressure. You may also feel a renewed sense of responsibility toward others. Not to save them, not to carry their outcomes, but to model steadiness. Your presence itself becomes instructional. People will watch how you move, how you respond, how you handle increase without becoming hardened or inflated. This is part of what you are now trusted with. Influence is not always loud. Often it is embodied. How you live will speak before you do. If doubt tries to return, remember this: the same discernment that kept you safe before will guide you now. You are not suddenly careless. You are not losing wisdom. You are applying it in a new direction. Trust that the God who taught you how to wait is now teaching you how to move. Both require faith. Both require surrender. And both are honored when done with humility. Chosen one. This part of the journey is about integration. Bringing together what you learned in stillness with what is required in motion. Do not rush this phase. Do not dramatize it either. Let movement be simple, deliberate, and grounded. When the next door opens, you will recognize it not by noise, but by peace. And as you step through, you will realize that nothing you went through was wasted. It all trained you for this exact balance. In the next part, we will speak about how to sustain this season without slipping back into old patterns, and how to protect what has been entrusted to you as it begins to grow. Chosen one, sustaining what has been entrusted to you will require a different strength than receiving it. Many people can handle the moment of breakthrough, but few are prepared for the responsibility that follows. This is where wisdom becomes your guardrail. What you are stepping into now is not fragile, but it is responsive. It responds to how you move, how you speak, how you choose. Sustaining blessing is less about effort and more about rhythm. You are learning a new rhythm, one that does not burn fast or fade quickly. There is a temptation that comes after progress to accelerate unnecessarily, to do more because you finally can, to say yes because doors are open, to prove that the season has changed. Resist that urge. You do not need to exhaust what has been given to validate it. True trust shows itself through restraint, even in abundance. You are no longer operating from lack, and that requires a recalibration of instinct. Acting from abundance feels slower, calmer, more intentional. It may feel unfamiliar at first, but it is the posture that preserves longevity. I want to be honest with you here. In my own life, I once sabotaged a season simply by overreaching. Everything was aligned, provision was present, momentum was building, but I let old habits of urgency drive my decisions. I said yes too often. I ignored rest. I treated peace like something optional instead of essential. The result was unnecessary strain. Not collapse, but compromise. And that taught me a lesson I carry with me now. Peace is not a luxury after success. It is a requirement for sustaining it. You are being invited to learn this before you have to learn it the hard way. Chosen one, boundaries will become more important now than ever. Not walls, but boundaries. Walls shut everything out. Boundaries let the right things in while keeping the wrong things from draining you. you will need to protect your time, your energy, and your attention. Not because you are fragile, but because what you carry has value. Stewardship includes discernment about access. Not everyone deserves proximity to what you're building. That does not make you unkind, it makes you wise. You may notice that old patterns try to resurface when things start going well. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear that it won't last. These are echoes, not warnings. They come from memory, not prophecy. When they appear, do not wrestle them aggressively. Simply acknowledge them and return to the practices that grounded you before. Stillness, reflection, honest prayer, practical planning. These are not spiritual opposites. They are partners. Heaven works through structure as much as surrender. Chosen one, sustaining this season also means staying teachable, not insecure, but open. You do not arrive at a place where growth stops. You arrive at a place where growth changes form. Feedback becomes more nuanced. Lessons become subtler. Correction becomes quieter. Pay attention to gentle nudges rather than waiting for hard stops. When something feels slightly off, pause. You do not need to force clarity. Often clarity comes when you give it space to surface. There is also a communal aspect to this season. You may be called to support others differently now, not by rescuing them, but by modeling stability. People learn more from what you maintain than what you announce. Let your consistency speak. Let your peace teach. Let your discipline demonstrate what alignment looks like in real life. This is influence that does not exhaust you because it flows naturally from who you are becoming. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, sustainability will look like balance. Not perfection, but awareness. Tracking what comes in and what goes out. Not just money, but time and energy. If something consistently costs more than it contributes, reevaluate it. Heaven often guides through wisdom disguised as common sense. Do not spiritualize what can be stewarded practically. You honor divine provision when you manage it responsibly. Chosen one. Remember this: you were trusted because you learned how to hold things without clinging. That lesson continues now. Do not grip this season tightly. Do not fear losing it. What is sustained through trust does not disappear easily. Fear invites loss. Faith maintains flow. Stay grounded. Stay observant. Stay aligned. The same God who guided you into this will guide you through it. As you continue, notice how your identity is stabilizing. You are less reactive, less defensive, more present. This is not accidental. It is the fruit of alignment. And in the next part, we will talk about legacy, not in a grand sense, but in the daily choices that shape what remains after the moment passes. Because what you're building now is meant to outlast the season that revealed it. Chosen one. When heaven begins to trust you at this level, the conversation naturally shifts from survival to legacy. Not legacy in the sense of fame or recognition, but legacy in the way your life quietly changes outcomes for others long after the moment passes. This is where many people misunderstand the purpose of increase. They think it exists to elevate their comfort, when in truth it exists to stabilize their impact. You are entering a phase where your consistency will matter more than your intensity. What you repeat will shape more than what you announce. Legacy begins in the unseen rhythms of your days. How you handle stress when no one is watching. How you speak when frustration would be justified. How you choose patience when speed is available. These moments may feel small, but they compound. Heaven measures legacy by what remains steady over time, not by what spikes briefly. You have already been training for this without realizing it. Every time you chose restraint, every time you didn't react, every time you stayed grounded instead of dramatic, you were building something durable. I want to share something personal here. I once thought legacy would come from one defining moment, one breakthrough that would change everything. What I learned instead is that legacy is built in repetition, showing up when it's ordinary, staying faithful when it's quiet, making the same aligned choice even after it stops feeling heroic. That kind of faithfulness doesn't make headlines, but it builds lives. And that is what you are now being trusted with: influence that settles rather than excites, presence that stabilizes rather than overwhelms. Chosen one, you may notice a subtle shift in what satisfies you. Applause will matter less. Depth will matter more. You will care less about being impressive and more about being effective. This is a sign of maturity, not diminishing ambition. Your ambition is simply being purified. It's learning to aim for outcomes that last, rather than moments that fade. This is where peace becomes your compass. When something aligns with your assignment, it won't just excite you, it will ground you. There will be opportunities ahead that invite you to trade depth for speed, to scale before you're settled, to expand before you're anchored. Be cautious. Not afraid, but discerning. Expansion without grounding creates instability. You have already learned how costly instability can be. Heaven is not in a rush. Timing is part of the gift. When you move in season, things require less force to sustain. When you move early, everything feels like effort. Trust the timing that has carried you this far. Chosen one legacy also requires humility, not the kind that shrinks, but the kind that listens. You are not above correction. You are not beyond learning. Staying teachable will keep your path clear. When wisdom shows up through unexpected voices or inconvenient moments, receive it. Pride resists refinement. Humility welcomes it. And humility is what keeps increase from becoming a burden instead of a blessing. As your influence grows, you may feel a quiet responsibility to protect what you carry, not by hiding it, but by stewarding it carefully. Words matter more now. Decisions ripple further. Your choices affect more people than before, even if you don't see them. This awareness is not meant to make you anxious. It is meant to make you intentional. You are capable of this level of responsibility because you've already carried invisible weight with grace. Chosen one, remember that legacy is not built by perfection. It is built by consistency with repentance, adjustment, and alignment. You will still make mistakes. You will still learn as you go. That does not disqualify you. What matters is your willingness to correct course without defensiveness. That flexibility is a strength, not a weakness. It keeps you responsive to guidance rather than rigid in control. As this season continues to unfold, ask yourself this simple question: does this choice build something that can last? If the answer is yes, move forward. If the answer is unclear, pause. You don't need to rush clarity. It will surface when you give it space. The God who trusted you with increase will also trust you with wisdom for legacy. Stay with me as we continue. In the next part, we'll talk about how to remain spiritually centered as visibility increases and how to stay rooted when attention begins to shift toward you. Chosen. One, increased visibility brings a different kind of pressure, one that doesn't announce itself as fear, but often disguises itself as responsibility. When more eyes are on you, even quietly, there can be a pull to manage perception, to stay ahead of expectations, to anticipate reactions. This is where many lose their center, not because they are unqualified, but because they begin to live outward instead of rooted inward. This part of your journey is about learning how to remain anchored while your influence expands. Spiritual centering is not isolation. It is alignment. You do not need to withdraw from the world to stay grounded in God. You need rhythm, consistent practices that return you to yourself and to truth. Stillness that is intentional, not reactive. Reflection that is honest, not self-critical. These rhythms act like ballast in a ship. They keep you stable even as the waters change. You have already tasted this kind of grounding in past seasons. Now it becomes non-negotiable. I want to speak from experience again. There was a time when attention increased around my work, and I didn't realize how subtly it was pulling me off center. I was still doing the right things, but I was doing them from a different place. Less listening, more managing. Less being, more performing. Nothing broke immediately, but peace began to thin. That was my warning. When peace diminishes, alignment is shifting. I had to return to the quiet practices that first anchored me. That return restored clarity quickly, but only because I responded early. Chosen. One, visibility does not require you to explain yourself. Silence is not absence, it is restraint. You do not owe everyone access to your process. You do not need to narrate your growth. Let fruit speak in its own time. When you feel pressure to clarify, pause and ask whether the explanation is truly necessary or simply comforting to others. Not every question deserves an answer. Discernment protects energy. As attention increases, so will opinions. Some will praise, some will project, some will misunderstand. This is inevitable. Your task is not to control the narrative, but to stay truthful in your movement. When your inner alignment remains intact, external noise loses power. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding. Over time, consistency outpaces commentary. People may not understand immediately, but they will recognize stability. Chosen one, staying spiritually centered also means staying embodied. Pay attention to your body. Fatigue, tension, restlessness. These are often signals before they become problems. Rest is not retreat. It is maintenance. When you honor your limits, you protect your longevity. You are not meant to burn brightly and briefly. You are meant to shine steadily. This requires listening to when you need to pause, slow down, or step back without guilt. There will be moments when you feel the urge to self-monitor constantly, to evaluate how you're being received, to check whether you're doing enough. This habit erodes presence. Instead, return to your why. Not the external purpose, but the internal call. Why you began. What grounded you when no one was watching. That origin point holds your compass. When you move from there, you stay centered, regardless of visibility. Chosen one, remember that spiritual authority is quiet. It doesn't demand attention. It attracts trust. You do not need to raise your voice to be heard. You do not need to compete for space. When you remain anchored, your presence will speak without effort. This is especially important as opportunities multiply. Choose those that align with your rhythm, not those that simply expand your reach. Reach without root leads to exhaustion. As this season unfolds, you may feel moments of solitude, even while surrounded by people. This is not loneliness. It is differentiation. You are becoming clearer about who you are and where you are going. That clarity naturally creates space. Do not fill that space prematurely. Let it shape you. Often solitude is where vision stabilizes. Chosen one, keep returning to stillness. Not to withdraw, but to recalibrate. The same God who prepared you in obscurity will keep you grounded in visibility if you allow it. In the next part, we will bring everything together: how obedience, trust, movement, sustainability, legacy, and centering converge into a life that is both impactful and peaceful. Chosen one. This final movement is not about arrival, but about integration. Everything that has unfolded through these parts has been preparing you for a way of living, not a single moment of change. What heaven entrusted to you was never meant to interrupt your life, but to harmonize it. When alignment is real, nothing feels forced. It feels honest, steady, and sustainable. That is the evidence you are walking in truth, not illusion. You are now standing at a point where obedience and peace meet. This is rare. Many obey without peace, driven by fear or pressure. Others seek peace without obedience, avoiding responsibility. You have been trained to carry both. That is why your life will no longer move in cycles of extreme highs and crashes. It will move forward with quiet momentum. That rhythm is your protection. Guard it carefully. I want to speak plainly now. You do not need another confirmation. You do not need another sign. You do not need permission to trust what you already know. The stillness you feel is not emptiness. It is completion. When God finishes a season of preparation, He often seals it with calm. No fireworks, no urgency, just clarity. That clarity is enough. Chosen one. What you are stepping into will unfold through ordinary days. Conversations, decisions, consistent choices. Do not overlook the sacredness of the ordinary. Miracles often hide in routine when alignment is complete. You will recognize this season not by sudden drama, but by reduced resistance. Things will begin to make sense. Solutions will come without struggle. Provision will meet needs without panic. This is how trust manifests in real life. There may still be moments of uncertainty. That does not mean you are off path. Faith does not eliminate questions. It teaches you how to move without answers. When uncertainty appears, return to what grounds you. Presence, integrity, patience. These have carried you this far, and they will continue to guide you. You are not meant to figure everything out. You are meant to remain aligned. Chosen one, release the pressure to become something else. You are not evolving into a different person. You are becoming more fully yourself. The parts you suppressed to survive are now safe to surface. Your voice will feel steadier. Your choices will feel cleaner. Your boundaries will feel natural instead of defensive. This is maturity. This is integration. As you move forward, remember this: what is entrusted to you grows in proportion to how well you care for it. Care for your peace. Care for your time. Care for your spirit. Do not sacrifice these for speed or approval. What is meant for you will wait until you arrive whole. That has always been heaven's pattern. Chosen one, you are no longer preparing. You are practicing. Practicing discernment. Practicing restraint. Practicing trust. Practice makes alignment effortless. Over time, what once required intention will become instinct. You will know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move and when to pause. That wisdom will keep you steady long after this moment passes. Take a breath here. Let this settle. You do not need to rush into action after this message ends. Let life meet you naturally. Watch how circumstances begin to adjust without force. Notice how your inner state remains steady even when things shift externally. That is the sign of true transformation. Chosen one, your journey does not end here. It simplifies, it stabilizes, it deepens. What was once difficult will become natural. What once required effort will flow. You're not chasing anything anymore. What belongs to you is already moving in your direction. Walk forward with humility, clarity, and quiet confidence. This is not the beginning of something fragile. It is the continuation of something solid. You are ready. Carry this knowing gently into your days. Let your life speak louder than declarations. Trust that what was shaped in silence will endure in visibility. When challenges arise, meet them without panic. You are equipped. You are guided. You are held. Continue forward with faith that is calm, courage that is steady, and a heart that remains open to grace and enduring truth always. Chosen one. As this message comes to its sacred close, rest in this knowing nothing you have heard was accidental, and nothing unfolding in your life right now is delayed. You are standing in your Kairos moment, the precise intersection where obedience met timing and heaven responded. What you chose in silence has been acknowledged in the unseen, and a supernatural transfer is already in motion. Anointed one. The weight you feel is not pressure, it is trust. The calm settling over your spirit is not emptiness, it is confirmation. You are being sent forward with clarity, not confusion, with peace, not urgency. What is opening before you will not require striving, only faithfulness. Walk gently but confidently. Carry what has been entrusted to you with gratitude and reverence. May wisdom guard your steps. May discernment steady your hands. May provision meet you without fear, and favor surround you without noise. What was prepared for you in hidden seasons will now begin to manifest in visible ways, at the right pace, in the right order, for the right purpose. Chosen one, stay aligned, stay listening, stay faithful to the stillness that taught you how to hear. And as you move forward, let gratitude go before you like an offering, clearing the way for what is next. If your spirit bears witness to this word, you may seal it quietly by leaving a simple comment, by sharing this message with someone who needs confirmation, or by remaining connected so you do not miss what heaven releases next. Do so only as you feel led. Go now in peace. The transfer has begun, the timing is exact, and what you are now trusted with will unfold with grace.